I'm often asked, is it hard to go from 500 to 600 on the GMAT or from 600 to 700? It's a very understandable question, and it comes down to three factors. Number one, how difficult this is going to be for you is relative to where you're starting. If you're starting at a 550 and you just want to get to a 570, it might be super easy to make that happen. If you're starting at a 200 and you want to get to a 550, that might be really, really difficult. The second thing that's relevant is your talent with standardized tests. Some people are super genetically gifted at exams and they don't need to study very much at all in order to get top scores. For example, I had a friend back in the day who had the official guide for 2 weeks and got a 780, and that was his whole GMAT prep process. And in the meantime, it took me about 8 months. I thought it would take 3, but eventually I got there, and there's really not much any of us can do about our current level of talent with standardized tests. We have the genetics we have, and fortunately, hard work is a great substitute for talent. The third factor here is your work ethic, and what I mean by that is how much you enjoy working at difficult things. For some people, the idea of coming home after a long day of work and studying for 1 to 3 hours is super unbearable, and they're probably just not going to be able to take the emotional pain for more than, let's say, a few weeks. If that's you, then it's probably going to be really, really hard to make any kind of reasonable gains on the exam. On the other end of the spectrum, you have people who really enjoy working hard, and the idea of coming home after a long day of work and just sitting on the couch and watching TV really isn't that appealing to them, and they would rather be working on themselves, elevating themselves, confronting challenges. It's just a different kind of person. So if you really like those difficult challenges, then it's not going to be that hard to sustain your GMAT prep over a long period and make significant score gains. The thing I want to add here is it's the wrong question to ask whether it's going to be hard or not, and the better question to ask is whether it's going to be worth it to reach your dream GMAT score. Pretty much any decision we make in life is a cost-benefit analysis of some kind, and this is no exception. As many of you are probably aware, some of the best investments that we can make financially have a large initial capital layout that has to be made. Just because I have to spend a lot or invest a high amount, does that make it a bad investment? Think about the GMAT the same way. Just because it might take a lot of effort and energy and time to get the score I want, does that make it a bad investment of effort, energy, and time? The reason I bring this up is you should probably stop focusing on whether it's going to be hard or not and instead just refocus on whether it's going to be worth it or not. So focus on the payout, focus on the return on capital, focus on the return on time, and focus on what you really want out of your life and career, and ask yourself, does a top MBA get me this? If it does, then at the end of the day, no matter how many setbacks you confront, it's still going to be more than worth the time and energy that it takes. If you're not that serious about getting a top MBA, then maybe just flirting with the exam and seeing if you can get a great score quickly is the right move for you. If you're not sure what the right choice is for you, reach out to us anytime and we'll be happy to help. Talk soon.